Hello, my wonderful, beautiful friends. Guys, welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady, where you'll hear wild stories where Karen seem to think that any regular Joe Schmo is an employee, but they aren't. Guys, strap yourselves in today because, oh boy, the stories are super wild. So grab a drink, grab a snack, kick your feet up, because we're diving in. Oh, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button for future stories, and email link is going to be right here for Reddit posts and submissions. So, for some context, I'm South Indian, and I currently live in a mid-sized German town. So today, I woke up a bit earlier than usual, so I figured I'd stop at the McDonald's for some breakfast. I got my food, and I'm sitting at one of the tables by the entrance, and it's pretty early, so I was the only customer in the restaurant. I also had my headphones in, and I'm watching YouTube on my iPad when a woman interrupts me with a "good morning," which was odd, seeing as I'm in Germany. Why not Guten Morgen? Now this woman was an older woman, perhaps 50 years old. She was holding an open beer bottle. Not that that's too unusual over here, apart from maybe the time of day. The woman tells me that there's no one at the counter to serve her. When I inform her in German that I did not work there, she refused to believe me, saying, "But you are Indian." To that I respond, "So?" She replied, "Indians all have crap jobs." She then started to raise her voice, ranting that since I didn't work at the McDonald's, that I didn't work anywhere, and that immigrants were ruining Germany. Now, the woman wasn't done yet though, as she saw fit to spit in my tray and then told me to lick it. Now, by this time the manager had come over, so she heard the rant and witnessed the spitting. She then asked if I wanted to call police. I did, but I also had a job to get to, so I declined. I'm a teacher, and there was exams today and I promised a revision class, so if I didn't make it or was delayed, the students would be screwed. Now, I'm not sure how it ended. The manager did replace my whole meal for free, which was nice because I'd pretty much finished it. I guess I'm having some snacks today. Guys, I just want to say how disgusting that woman is, like literally. Let me get this straight. That woman was probably drunk out of her mind in the early morning. She spit at someone quietly trying to enjoy a meal, proceeded to be super racist, and she's complaining that others are ruining the country. Like, excuse me, Karen? Some people just suck. So I was shopping at a local big box sporting goods store. I was looking in the camping section when I noticed an average, nondescript looking guy in unremarkable clothing, kind of watching me as I pawed through the camping crap. The guy didn't have any merchandise, a basket, or a cart, so I figured he's probably store security. A little bit later, I was over in the bow hunting area. While trying to find out what the cool looking stuff was used for, I noticed the same guy was there kind of eyeballing me, but trying to look like he wasn't. Then after, I was over at ammo, reloading stuff, and the same guy was there. So I walked down a few aisles, and then he followed me. Now, I was trying to figure out what I did that made security want to follow me, as I was dressed in business casual and I'm a clean-cut kind of guy. So after about 3 aisles, the guy comes down the other side and he kind of blocks me. The guy starts making idle chit-chat, but he seemed really nervous. I then noticed that he was looking at my right hip. Now, I carry a concealed handgun there, tucked under my business shirt. However, it is a full-size gun, so if I bend funny or reach up for something, you can clearly see the outline of it in my shirt. In my state, open carry is legal, but it does freak some people out though. Usually only another person who carries will notice it though. At this point, the guy starts to come closer to my right side, where I keep the gun. So I turn away, move my handbasket to cover the gun, preventing access. After a short do-si-do, the guy finally says to me, "I know you're security. I saw you following me, so I wanted to give you a taste of your own medicine." At this, I laugh loudly and say, "Oh, I thought you were security. No, I'm just shopping." He then tells me, "I know you're security, and I'm gonna tell everyone." I then responded with, "Okay." I continued looking for a bit, but I didn't end up buying anything. The guy followed me from a short distance, telling everyone within a nearby earshot, "Watch out, he's security." Eventually, I dropped my empty basket, passed through the store's registers, and headed for the store exit. The guy continues to follow me, calling attention to himself by telling the front end people that he knows I'm security. He followed me as I walked out the store, and that's when the alarm goes off and they asked him to come back with his unpaid merchandise he was carrying. I was parked pretty close to the front of the store, so I waited around for 10 to 15 minutes to see if he came out, but he didn't. I haven't seen anything in the police blotter yet, so maybe they got it all sorted out. Guys, this has got to be the oddest I don't work here encounter ever. Like, what does the guy get for announcing to everybody and their mom that OP's security? Even if you were, it's not uncommon for security to be around. I don't know guys, maybe he gets followed by security so much that he finally got sick and tired of it. No idea though. So I work at a trampoline park that's fairly popular in my area. The uniform is a dark red t-shirt with the company logo on the front and staff written on the back. So after work one day, my dad comes and picks me up as he needs help lifting bags of soil into his car at Home Depot. Keep in mind, Home Depot employees wear bright orange shirts and brown aprons and a work belt. So when I got off work, me and Dad drive to the Home Depot to pick up the dirt, and there was a bit of a lineup to load bags of dirt into the car. So I figured, why not? I'd help the car in front of us load up. I then helped to load 3 other cars with no issues, and I got 3 warm thank yous from the people I helped, and even $5 from one older gentleman as a thank you. Now, the 4th car, the last one before my dad's, started fairly normally. I loaded the truck bed along with the husband, and we finished fairly quickly. And then his wife Karen comes up to me with her receipt in hand, asking if I needed to check it. I said to her, "Oh, no, I actually don't work here. I was just helping people out so me and my dad can..." She interrupts and says, "Wait, you don't work here?" Now, she was taken aback and awkwardly held her receipt close to her chest, protectively. I tried to explain again that I was just helping the line move quicker by helping people out, but she cut me off again and says, "So why does it say staff on your shirt?" I told her, I just work at the trampoline park around the corner. I just finished my shift." She then says, "So why did that guy pay you for his soil?" I tell her, "That was just a thank you. I don't expect any..." She then interrupts me again, fuming, saying, "You seriously took advantage of that older gentleman?" Now, I was taken aback by this and said, "No, not at all. He just gave..." It was at this point, Karen loses it. She starts screaming at me, enough that everybody turned around to look at us. Now, I don't remember exactly what she said, but it was along the lines of I was a cancerous person for scamming people out of their hard-earned money, and that she should call the police right now to have me arrested for impersonating an employee to take money from people. This is when her husband steps in and starts trying to calm her down. Her husband manages to get her to stop yelling, but she continues to talk at me in that stern voice, like a teacher disciplining a student. My dad, who's been inside paying for the soil, then comes out. He walks over to see what the fuss was about. Karen then puts on this "you're so screwed now" look, and she proceeds to tell my father, "Your son just robbed an old man." It was at this point her husband decides that it's time to go. But before leaving, he apologizes to me and then hands me a $50 bill in full view of his wife and told me not to worry about it. At this point, she's sitting in the passenger seat, fuming that her husband just gave me money, let alone $50, when she just berated me about taking money from elders. Her husband gets in the car with a smile on his face and they drove off. As they were pulling out, I could hear her yelling at him through the open car window. Me and my dad still laugh about her to this day. You know what they say, guys, no good deed goes unpunished, my friends. I love how the husband hands OP a $50 bill for helping out, when he probably knew full well that his wife was gonna give him an earful for that. Almost like he enjoys riling her up. So this person's comment says, "That's a man that's gotten so much earful that it's not something he worries about anymore. I bet he wasn't paying $50 to say thank you or sorry, but he paid $50 for a fireworks show all the way home, followed by an evening of her angrily leaving him to drink his beer in peace." Okay, so I volunteer for a driving service locally. A few hours per week, I drive the elderly to the doctors and to the shops and such. My only responsibility is to bring them from point A to point B and back. But as it's often very frail, weak, or small people, I go in the shop with them and help them get stuff off of shelves and such because I want to. It's a small community and a number of people know me in the area. This is fine. Well, I drive on Mondays only, and this story happened last Saturday when I went to the shops to do my own shopping. So a lady that I'd never seen before, a Karen, visibly stared at me as I walked past her. Now, I do think nothing of this, as people are weird sometimes, so I go about my shopping. The lady pretty much stalks me. She's following behind me very slowly. Now, I know this because I do a pretty unusual tour throughout the aisles since I know exactly what I need and where. We've just walked past at least 3 uniformed employees by now, and near the register, she jams her cart in front of mine, blocking the way. She says, "Excuse me, since you're obviously free, why haven't you offered to help me?" Now, I stare at her for a good 15 seconds because I don't know what I could possibly help her with. The thought that she thinks that I work here doesn't occur to me, as I've never worked a day of retail in my life. I'm a journalist, nothing even close to what she's after. So I asked her, "With what?" Karen says, My shopping. I told her if you need help, I suggest an employee. She says, but you are free. I then tell her I don't work here, and Karen says, obviously not. Now, this comment did startle me, as I didn't expect her to agree with me. So I say, then why would I help you? She then says that I work for this local service. To which I said, no, I'm self-employed. I volunteer there on Mondays. Karen then says, then help me already. By now, people have started peeking into the aisle, her shrill voice having alerted others. I can see one of the shopkeepers debate whether or not to step in, and sadly, they don't. So I tell the woman, it's not Monday. If it was Monday, I still wouldn't help you because it's a members-only service. You are not a member. And if you were, I still wouldn't help you because my only responsibility is driving people around. I help sometimes because I want to, and I certainly don't want to help you. Now at this, she gets mad, and I can see it. I give her cart a push and walk past with mine to the register and start unloading my stuff. The cashier's already giving her and me the side eye because she can see this isn't over. Karen then steps up and says, if you don't work here, how are you gonna pay for that? You are gonna pay, right? This startled both me and the shopkeeper. What she said was so dumb that I'm literally speechless for half a minute. And I told her, no, I figured that I was just gonna rob the store, to be honest. It is Saturday after all. Karen sees what I'm doing and she says, you are so rude. I then pay for my stuff, and I can see she's still following me, having abandoned her cart in the aisle. I stay near the counter to pack my groceries while she's still hovering around me. I said, you understand that I'm not gonna help you at all, ever, right? She then says, I will get you fired. I told her I'm self-employed, and I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna fire me. I managed to make it out the door, put my cart back, and carry my stuff to my car. I almost think that I ditched her when she appears again. This woman was literally stalking me in broad daylight. She was next to my car, yelling in my ear saying, that's not your car. I've seen your car. By now, honestly, I was just having a laugh at this woman. I said, then why do my keys unlock the door? I mean, we're standing right in front of it and it's unlocked. She then says to me, no, I know what your real car looks like. The Volkswagen. It then dawns on me what she means. The local service has 2 brand spanking new 7-seater electric cars, completely covered with stickers, ads, and so on for the driver's service. The cars are white, the stickers are orange and green, it's very distinct. How anybody could think a car with all those ads belongs to a random person is beyond me, to be honest. I told her, that's not mine. This is, I just drive that sometimes. She then says, that's illegal. At this point, I'm completely done, and I told her, have a great day. By the way, the store has probably put all your stuff back by now. She ignores this completely as I get into my car, lowering the window as to not tempt her to open the door or something. And she says, how did you get this car? Now, I'm a fairly small woman, just over 5 feet, very friendly face, and generally quite approachable. But I have a loud voice when I try, and at this point, I tried and said, I stole it. In fact, I murdered the owner as well, in broad daylight too. Keep yapping and I'll show you where they're buried. With that, I throw the car in gear, absolutely stomping the pedal to the ground, and race to the other end of the parking lot. I can see the woman frantically scramble to what I assume to be her car to probably try to follow me, but by the time she's in it, I've pulled into traffic and pretty much out of her sight. Just for fun, I've parked a little down the road from my place next to another identical car. Same model, same color, very similar license plates, just in case the woman comes looking. Sadly, she didn't. I didn't see her or her car again. I was actually a little nervous that I'd get in trouble with the police or something for yelling, in case she reported me or something, but it seems she's not that crazy. What an absolutely insane story, like wow. Just when I think these stories can't get any more crazy, they do. I love how OP realized that the only way to beat crazy is to tap into the inner crazy. Every so often, I have to go to Home Depot for parts while I'm on the job. And while I'm in the plumbing aisle, I hear the Home Depot employee talking with a customer about piping and water softeners. It just so happens that I work in the water conditioning business, so I figured I'd linger around to see what the man was talking about. The Home Depot employee was being a dick to this older gentleman and ended up walking away. Now, I was surprised, as they supposedly hire trade-experienced employees to work departments there, so I don't know what the issue was. I could see the customer was disappointed, so I did the nice thing and walked up to the guy, told him who I was and who I worked for, saying, "Hello sir, I couldn't help but overhear you're having an issue. I don't work here, but I can give you a hand." I then introduced myself and my profession. The man thanks me and tells me that he's having issues with his water and he doesn't know what system to use. I told him, "I'll be honest sir, I custom build systems and install them, but I'll help you pick out a system that should be able to meet your needs." We end up finding a system that would last him a year or two. Water is bad around my parts, and cheap systems go fast. As he walks away, another few customers come up asking me for assistance with advice because they overheard me talking with the other guy. Now, I want to note that I'm actually on my company's time right now. I did help them as fast as I could and then started to walk away when the actual plumber guy that Home Depot hired called out to me and said, "Hey, so you must be the guy they hired to replace me." I told him, "No, I just felt compelled to donate some time to some neglected customers." The plumbing dude then says, "So you're soliciting Home Depot's customers. Do I need to call the police?" It was at this point things did get a little heated and I told him, "No. I just sold 3 of Home Depot's cheap-ass water softeners to 3 neglected customers in under an hour and a half. I just did your job for you. Maybe you should stop making a scene and neglecting all of your customers before I go and get your manager and close my business account with Home Depot." At this point, the plumber dude just storms off like a child. I finished gathering the materials that I was lacking for the next job when the third person I helped walked back up to me and apologized because she heard how the plumber dude was talking to me. She ended up asking for my number to help me take care of it for her. Now, me being in a sticky situation, I asked her if I could give it to her when we're out of the store so it doesn't look like I was soliciting, like the guy said I was. I then checked out and walked outside. I gave the lady my business number and said goodbye. As soon as I did, the store manager and plumber dude comes out with police and started battling off their BS, how they have me on camera, etc, etc, and then the police start questioning me about soliciting business. I plainly stated what happened in the store and that I was just trying to help some customers out. The lady who I helped was just pulling out, and she saw me, the plumber dude, the store manager, and the police outside going at it, and she gets out of her car to back me up. While she was going at it and giving her story about the employee disappointment, the 2 other people I helped walked out and thanked me for my help. The store manager then stopped the conversation. He apologized to me and told the plumber dude that he was fired. I tried to stop the manager, but he was pissed when he seen that my story was solid, and those customers walked out as happy as they could be. So yeah, that's the story. Guys, I don't know if it's just me or what, but sometimes when I go to Home Depot, I feel like there's not many employees around at all. And when I do find employees, they're not even helpful. I was actually surprised that the police were called though, because I had no friggin' idea that police would respond that quickly to a soliciting business call. I was at a major electronics store known for their blue polo shirts. I just got off work at a warehouse, and I had a blue t-shirt on. I was looking at movies when I heard a woman snapping her fingers right in my face, and in an angry, loud tone she said, "Excuse me." I slowly turned to see a middle-aged woman, a Karen, standing there in a pissed-off pose, glaring at me. She told me that I needed to get an item for her in the back. It was only then I realized what happened. She thinks that I work here. I quietly replied that I didn't work here, which sets her off in a rage. Now, I can't remember exactly what she said, but it was along the lines of, "Listen here, you stupid idiot. I know you work here. You have a blue shirt on. I'm gonna get you fired. Where is your manager?" Now, I usually don't yell at people, but something about her just pissed me off. So I let loose and said, "Listen here, lady. I don't work here just because I'm wearing a blue shirt. I'm a customer, so leave me alone." It was at this point that a real employee comes over to see what the fuss was about. She saw that employee and then demanded to see a manager. It was less than a minute when the manager comes to talk to her. The lady screamed about my incompetence and demanded that I apologize to her before I was fired. I then looked at the manager and shook my head. The manager then looks at me in a bewildered state and says to the lady, "Ma'am, he doesn't work here. Just because he has a blue shirt on doesn't mean he works here. I'll get another employee to help you." The manager then turned to lead the lady away, but I wanted one thing first. I looked at her directly in the eye and said, "Excuse me, you owe me an apology." The woman looked around in a bewildered state. The manager looked surprised, but he said nothing, and the woman turns to me, mumbling, "I'm sorry." Guys, I just want to say good on OP for demanding that apology, especially when she demanded that OP apologize to her. Now, the best part about this is that she'll have the memory of having to apologize to someone after being a complete Karen for the rest of her life. and that's way more satisfying than the apology itself. And that, my friends, brings us to another end of our /IDontWorkHereLady. Guys, if you enjoyed the stories today, do hit that thumbs up. And if you missed yesterday's episode on the channel, it's a crazy revenge story. OP's petty neighbor repeatedly calls police on him with false reports, and he gets that sweet, sweet revenge. Go check it out if you haven't, and myself and Stevie Boy will see you guys in the next one. We love you.